Welcome to this special live edition of the Ross Owen Show, sponsored by Indigo Unified Communications. My special guest today is professional poker player Sam Trickett.
Hello everyone, and thanks for having me.
What I'm going to try and do is take a caller. Let's see if technology is good to us here. I'm going to try and bring in Gordon Johnston, who recently, when you played with us in the poker league, the Indigo Poker League, we had a great time playing. You playing in the game, and Gordon was one of the players. So let me just check that he's got sound and that he's on. Gordon, can you hear us? And are you there?
Loud and clear, Ross.
Brilliant. Sam, can you hear
Sam?
Okay.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Gordon, what's your question for Sam?
Just obviously our Indigo League is a lot of day with mental health issues and stuff like that, which you donated to. So thanks for that. Firstly, I just want to know. I watched a documentary on yourself the other night, showing how where you came from, your background, your fame, and how you got to where you are today. And I just wanted to know if, when you were at your lowest, when you were 30k in debt, did that affect you mentally, and how did you come back from that?
It was difficult, yeah. I remember being difficult, but I've always had like kind of a positive mindset from when I've been younger. I would like recognize early that there's not much reason to like feeling sorry for yourself and like talking about the problems or what's happened. And I was always looking for solutions and how to fix things. And I'm kind of a problem solver. Like if I did something wrong, I'm like, oh, I want to know where I went wrong. And it was like kind of a good habit that I got into from a young age of like trying to like learn from my mistakes. So I didn't get myself too down, if I'm honest. I was always like really positive. Like I would make my mind up on poker that I could do it. Like I looked at it, I realized where I went wrong. So I was like, oh, I wouldn't make that mistake next time. And it was just like, poker was kind of like very clear path to me that I was going to be able to do it and do it well because I was, improving really quick. And so there was loads of positives to take from the downfall as well. I also thought I've learned a lot where I went wrong, why I lost all my money, and I wouldn't do it again if I got put in the position. So I remained positive. And, if you make good decisions and you made your money, in certain games, like look at those games where you made the money and don't just play like, other games just because you're bored and you justify it. I want to improve to play better against better players. And that's what I did when I went broke. I was just playing in bigger games, trying to force it. I thought I was invincible. And then I just thought, right, you're not as good as you think you are. Take a look at, yeah. And I think everyone does. When you're on like an upbringing, you're like, yeah, I'm fucking the best player. I'm brilliant. I can take anyone on. And then before you know,
the game.
you do that. The thing is that when the deck hits you and your opponents are just missing the flop all the time, you feel like, I'm the captain. And it does like boost your ego up a little bit. And that was one thing that I had a problem with back then was ego for sure. I was a young lad, got a lot of money from no money. So it kind of like all happened a bit too quick, and it was kind of my ego that was my downfall. And it did smash my ego when I went broke, and that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Well, your ego must have been quite high when you turned Nottingham Forest down at first, there.
Yeah, I know. I did. I got benched once for Sheffield United as well. And I left. I was like, who do you think you are benching me? And I was that kid. Yeah, I was bad. It was like, and looking back, it was a big mistake because even my football, because I had that attitude, I didn't have any like drive to improve or get better because I thought I was better. So it affected my own progress with football and again with poker. Once I got had some results, I was like, well, I've done it now. I'm great. And I took my eye off my faults and was concentrating on all my positives, and it's the worst thing you can do, really. Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to wish you all the best of luck in the future anyway. Maybe see you at a final table one day.
Just stay positive, mate. Always address your faults. You'll be there. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Nice to speak to you.
Gordon, thanks for coming on, bud.
No problem, Ross. I'll speak to you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
That was Gordon Johnston there. Let's bring in Sid, and Sid has a question as well. Sid's a great player. He played in the tournament with us, the league as well. And another one from Bonnie, Scotland. Hi there. You're live,
right, mate.
Sam Trickett.
How you doing?
All right, so I'm good, mate. Thanks very much. Big fan, like genuine big fan, mate. You're absolutely brilliant. I've actually got a kind of two questions to ask you. So, first one being, in the one drop when you played as Fandiari heads up, it's easy with hindsight, but is there any one particular hand where you would maybe change what you've done, just to obviously change the outcome and take first? But is there any one hand that stands out for you?
Yeah, I to be honest, I've got much heads up experience, and my results heads up have been quite poor. It's cost me a few bracelets and titles and things. So yeah, looking back, I can see now that I made some mistakes. Now I've gained experience. And like, there was one thing actually that really bothered me is when it was like six-handed, there was a 30-minute delay on ESPN, and everyone agreed to just show their cards rather than everyone waiting, finding out on the phones. And they agreed to just show them off the bat. And we were just showing them after every hand. And I just agreed to it at the time. I was a little bit uncomfortable, but like already that affected me a little bit because, you know, if I'm running over the table and bluffing a lot, I'm showing every bluff, and all of a sudden it like maybe knocks my confidence in continuing bluffing. And yeah, and I went into heads up, and it was the same thing. I wish we'd have just cancelled it, but we agreed to show the hands because now I got off to a really good start, and I had loads of good hands, and I had to show him my cards all the time. And I knew in my heart I shouldn't show my cards playing heads up because 30 minutes of poker is a long time. As I showed him all these hands that he had, I had good hands, and it just gave him more information how I played it, and it got in my head a little bit. I was thinking about that a little bit too much, so I regret my mindset going in and my decisions, and also the final hand. I think I misplayed. The final hand I misplayed for sure. Antonio's like the type of guy that doesn't necessarily need to rep much when he bluffs. He's like just aggressive, and I expected that some of the time he would raise back with just a bluff. And I should have just called. He probably shut him down, and I really regret the last hand. It actually tortured me for hours and hours afterwards. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I should have just check called the flop. It was so simple, but I was like, had queen eye, I get barreled a lot, and you know, I just wasn't experienced enough back then. I wasn't a good enough player, and I should check call the flop. It's tough for him to keep barreling, like, and I can call again anyway. I've got enough equity. So huge mistake, and I was really pissed off. And I think I might have been a little bit rattled as well because I ground him down, and then he like 4-outed me on the river in a three street bot. So I think I was a little bit like, I want to check raise him down. A little bit of tilt might have been in there, if I'm honest. Bit of an emotional check raise, and then once I did check raise, I was like, oh fuck, put myself. Yeah, it's a big regret of mine. But like, I accepted it. Like I was happy with the way I played throughout the tournament. You can't play perfect, can you?
I suppose what you say there, when you said to Gordon as well, just about learning from your mistakes, you'll learn from that as well. So, which is brilliant to know that people are allowed to make mistakes. We've all done it previously, and it's about how you bounce back. It's about that emotional intelligence, about coming back and understanding the situation you find yourself in. So that's amazing, mate. I appreciate that answer.
Yeah.
The second one was just a bit more fun, really. Is like in a come dine with me style. What 4 poker players would you bring to dinner, and what's your reasoning?
For a TV show, or just who I like?
Personally? Just you.
So do I have to like them the most that I'd want to spend time with, or just like wild characters that I think would be fucking funny?
Yeah, absolutely, just funny. Just who would bring the most fun to the table?
The first one would have come to name. He's not here anymore. Would have been the Devilfish, because you don't need to talk. He was just so funny, like such a character, and you could just sit back and listen to him talk. So he's not here anymore, but he would have been the first one on my list. He was just a fucking unusual guy, like a big character. Who else? So it's a good question. I don't know, because I'm trying to mix between it, like who I like the most and who I don't. Who do I like? Jungle Man would be funny too. Jungle Man's always funny. Like, he's a bit of an odd guy. I quite like crazy people. I don't like normal people. I'm kind of like crazy, a bit out there people, because I find it more interesting to see how they think about things differently to me. Like, Jungle Man will probably have a different view on me with most things, and it's quite nice to be around people like that. So I go Jungle Man. I'm going to put the Devilfish in there, even though he's not alive. And who else? I don't know. Just gone a bit blank. Yeah. So,
what about your best mate in poker?
Who's my best mate in poker? I don't know. Roberto Romanello. Sorry, yeah, Roberto Romanello is my best mate in poker.
I thought it was Phil Ivey.
Phil Ivey is one of my good friends. Yeah. Roberto Romanello is my best friend in poker. Phil Ivey's like, we're close friends. Like, he's one of my closest friends in poker. Yeah, but I don't want to start listing players and put me in an audience. Put me start number one. Roberto's my boy, so I put Roberto in there as well.
Class, yeah, that's brilliant. So I appreciate that. And how Roberto passes Ajax in the World Series, I don't know, but
that's class.
Unbelievable. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, mate. I really do appreciate it. You're a top man. Thank you.
No problem. See you later, matey. Good luck.
Cheers.
Sid, thanks for coming on and putting your question to Sam. I'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, Ross.
Cheers. You mentioned Devilfish there, Sam. That brings me to that famous footage that I keep watching over and again. It's labelled as Sam Trickett talks Devilfish into an awful call.
And I think actually I can't remember who is.
I think it's either Trickett or Madison, isn't it?
Aggressive ante in there.
Yeah, I feel like there was somebody that played earlier.
Rob Young, yeah.
Rob Young, that's right, down 50,000 pounds.
But he owns the club. We can't talk about him.
Yeah.
Look at this. Devilfish has re-raced $3,000, and Trickett is on.
Is that a stack of 10k?
It's not even gonna dent your stack. Yeah, that's 10.
I'm trying to think if I beat you in this pot, whether I'm winning.
Whether you're winning?
Trickett's trying to figure out if
Oh, don't just call. What they call?
Oh, he has called.
Get it in, man. Ship it in.
You got ace king.
It's
Do
good
you want to
for
play your
TV.
hand?
Have you got ace king?
No, I would have definitely shoved that.
Ace king, no?
Well, it looks like Trickett's slow play is going to cost him here because Devilfish has caught an awful flop for his hand. I'm really surprised to see Trickett not just play back right there.
For some reason, he didn't think the Devilfish would call a raise.
You feel like Devilfish would never make a raise that big to get away from the hand at some point, especially with Trickett. He's watched Trickett just make so many plays with such a wide range. I think he was just going to felt his nines there. I think Trickett is would like to take back that decision, and not just to be results oriented either. I really think that when you're opening wide and you get a guy that 3-bets you really tight, you definitely want to 4-bet your premium hands, because if somebody's 3-betting you with that narrow of a range, then they're not often going to fold.
Is that 10k behind?
Especially with
yeah, around something like that, I guess.
The stacks the way they are, they were pretty good for Devilfish, and Trickett just going in and getting it in.
Something like that. 25.
Somewhat light.
Should I have pocket 10s?
No. Is that what you want me to have?
Huh? No,
Is that what you want me to have? You got a jack? Come on, we're running out of time. Do something quick.
Oh, I feel like I'm good enough to do the right thing.
Sorry?
I'm going to work it out.
You on a draw? No, you'd have had it in on a draw, I guess.
He said, I'm trying to work out the right thing to do. He wants to figure out exactly what the fish has. See, the guys think the fish is putting any more money in anymore no matter what, do you? Is there any?
Probably not.
I think I priced him.
You're on a draw, right?
No.
I feel like I'm good enough to do the right thing. Scratch all this shit.
Almost good enough to do any time, and then he couldn't do it. I'm not that good.
I feel like I could be the
He just wanted to make himself feel a little bit better.
Priced him, what you got? He's trying to catch 2 you got a jack or something like that.
If you've got 10s, I'm in bad shape. There you go.
Really? If I've got 10s, you're in bad shape. Is that the truth?
Huh?
You're halfway in and halfway out.
Don't worry, I'm not a Hollywooder.
No, I didn't think so.
So
That was halfway in the mud.
Flipping a coin.
I've got 10s, you're in bad shape.
Huh?
I've got 10s, you're in bad shape. You're not lying.
If you've got 10s, am I in bad shape?
No, you said to me.
I can't possibly now. I can win. I'm winning. I'm winning.
But if I've got 10s, you're in bad shape.
Nah.
You know what? I don't think you lied to me, son.
I'm not lying to you.
So if I've got 10s, you're in bad shape.
What if I've got 10s?
Sorry?
I've got 10s. What if I've got 10s?
You just said if I've got 10s, you're
Yeah,
in
but
bad
I could have
shape.
10s as well.
Well, then you won't be in bad shape.
Because I can't win. I can't win any money.
Alice, you played one pot. and you won't put the blind on.
I don't mind what you do.
So let us do what we want to do, alright?
Old school put new school
really
in its
don't
place.
I wish you hadn't said about the 10s, because I would have just folded these 2 9s. But now, if I got 10s, you said I was in bad shape, so I guess 9s are the same.
I got kings.
What? What's he got?
Kings.
Wow.
I thought you had a big hand. And jacks and queens and aces.
I've got 2 kings. If there's any justice.
He's called.
I don't know how
Devilfish is called.
How did the money go in on that flop?
He's not exactly going to call with 9s if I don't do something.
If this was Elm off that night.
I would never Hollywood in a million years.
You said you got 2 10s, you're in bad shape.
Who, me? I said if you had 2 10s, you're in bad shape.
No, you said you was.
No, I said if you have 2 10s,
you're in bad shape.
Well, no,
that's the only
Because
hand I
Devilfish
have.
is so freaking crushed if Trickett has any sort of pair, and he's flipping at best with with the big draws like the king ten of spades and stuff like that. I can't imagine this is a hand that he's going to be too proud of looking back on. Luckily, he talked Devilfish into what turned out to be a horrendous call.
Yeah, no one
with the
thinks I
check
got
raise.
kings because I'm a sputard.
I can't believe you fought for 20 minutes to put down 2 kings.
Well, I knew you had a big hand pre, so it's like...
Like what? What can I have?
Queens, jacks or aces.
Yeah, but you're always going to put your money with 2 kings.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm good enough to make the fold, so maybe I should. But then I can't. I'm losing too much money.
Yeah, no, of course I am. That's why I'm asking for it.
I remember the hand because I slightly misplayed it considering how tight he was playing, and but like I tried to trap him. It was a little bit. If he was number one, I think he was number one on the UK list for years, and I was like kind of the new kid on the block. And I played in the cash game, and he was a little bit like fearful of me, I should say, and like kind of wanted to play a pot against me to prove his egos was on the table. Right, this is why I slow played him a little bit. I thought he might just be trying to bluff. But anyway. Yeah, and I played the hand with him. We got in some table talk exchange, and I remember like I knew what I did, and it was like it's not something I would do now. But yeah, after the hand, he pulled me to one side, and he was like seriously angry, and he said, "Do you understand? My son was watching. My son was watching that. You just made me look like a fucking idiot on TV." Like, and I was like, "What do you want me to do? Like, I'm just playing poker. Like, and I wasn't considering your son's feelings and how he looked." But he was really angry because I think he was more angry himself that he'd basically made himself look a bit silly in poker. And I just overtook him at number one. So it was like, it was a bit of a fun conversation. We actually had a beer afterwards, and, we're both like northern blokes come from strange backgrounds, basically. And we got along fine, and we ended up being good friends. But it was definitely a difficult hand for him on TV, right?
There's not many of those characters left. I spoke to Daniel Negreanu on my show last year, I think it was. That's one of the things we were talking about was there's not as many big characters in the game.
Yeah, so I mean, the characters used to be fantastic for TV. I think it was great for the game. It brought new players to the game. It was more of a show, more entertaining. But like the problem is like the modern day player recognizes that the more emotion you have running through your body, the less chance you have of making a right decision or a calm decision or a calculated decision. And it's just better to remain like stoic and be emotionally detached from the outcome of the pot, just like concentrate on making good decisions. And the more you do that, the more money you're going to make. So like a lot of your modern day players now are playing in high stakes games. It's such fine margin with all the best players in the world, all the elite players in the world. So margins are so tight. So if you're just a little bit charged up or not focused or having a bit of a laugh off the table, and I do this sometimes, and I know for a fact it costs me money because I'm trying to like be sociable, and I just enjoy talking as well, enjoying the game. But then it distracts me from the game, and sometimes I make decisions on TV that I wouldn't do if I'd have thought about it long enough. So I think people are just trying to stay as focused as possible now, not let emotions come into their decision making, and that's why you don't see as many characters now. Like some of the guys away from the table, they're great guys. You get them in the bar, they're having a laugh, and they've got a lot more personality than you think. But it's just when they're at the table, they just realise they have to be like this, and they have to be consistent in their actions, consistent in what they say, consistent in how they put their chips in, and that's how hard it is at the top levels now.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for answering that, Sam. We're going to bring in one more caller. We're going to try Tam. Tam was also playing in the Poker League the other week. Tam, you've got a couple of questions for Sam. Fire away.
Oh, I've got all sorts here. I could talk all day to you, Sam.
Fire away, mate. I got nowhere to be.
Basically, Sam, I was thinking, like, seeing you started making real money, like big bucks. Obviously, you grew up with a good group of friends. Did you find, like, you could some people come out the woodwork, try to be friends with you, try to leech you on, sort of thing?
It was kind of difficult for me to spot them, to be honest, because I come from a small town, and it was like everyone knew each other, and we would be like two football teams, Retford United and Retford Town, and we would play in them, and we'd all like meet in the pub afterwards, and probably be about 30 lads that all was really close mates. And on a Sunday, we'd end up 30 lads all going out for the day. So you kind of did know everyone, and like some was just closer to some than others. But yeah, I mean, people do definitely start approaching a bit more, texting a bit more, being nicer to you more. And it was somehow it gets difficult to weigh up who's genuine and who's not, because you don't know sometimes. And when you're young, you're just quite naive, and you think that everyone's just great. And something people don't have agendas, especially if you don't have any yourself. You like just assume that other people don't. But I've definitely got bit by a few people Well, it's only just recently, actually, in the last couple of years, that I just decided that, you know, I'm going to choose my friends better. And you can get to a point, it sounds ridiculous, where you almost have too many friends. And that's what was going on. I was trying to keep everyone happy. So all my other relationships with people I actually wanted to spend time with was suffering, because I was just like diluting my time and just like trying to keep everyone happy. But yeah, and it happens. And I've been a bit of a sucker, to be honest, in the past. I have got caught, but I've learnt my lesson.
How was Cape Town, Sam?
Cape Town, fantastic. Best thing I ever did. Best decision I ever made. I didn't have much of a choice because I'd gone broke and my missus had just left me.
Yeah, I seen the documentary.
Yeah, so I was like, well, fuck me. If there's ever going to be an opportunity, I might as well go and take this one now. And I've always been quite open and wanted to travel and do things. So I took the opportunity. It was the best thing I ever did. And yeah, and what was so nice about it is I was broke. And it was humbling. And I went into an office now, grinding again. And I was just around other players, normal people treating me normally. And I got used to having no money, not being able to like flash the cash around and look after all my mates and pay for every round and everything. And it was just nice to feel normal. And like that's kind of like how I like to keep my relationships now, because it can get a bit quite complicated sometimes when you think people are around you for your money and you don't know who's being genuine and who's not. So it was.
So was it 1 year you were there?
I was only there 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, and then I went straight to the Vegas for the World Series, and then
you smashed it.
Yeah,
Absolutely smashed it for the upwards.
Yeah, I did, and I was so determined. I said, I'm not having one beer in Vegas until I make a final table, and you know, and I stuck to that. I got a final table quite quick, but I went on to have a really successful World Series, won a lot of money, and actually I was quite unlucky. It sounds ridiculous to say, you know, I was unlucky when you had like such a successful World Series, but I lost some, you know, 90%ers with, you know, in three events for huge chip leads. So I was really wanted a bracelet back then. So it really meant a lot to me, and it doesn't mean
one now.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much to me anymore. I care less about the trophies and
prestige.
Yeah.
What do you think of Tony G? What do you think of the pattern, the speech play? Do you enjoy playing with him?
I think he's strategic, and I can kind of respect that. And I kind of like, part of me is like a bit sad that that's gone out of the game now. Like it's almost seen as bad etiquette, and you know, to talk to people, and you're only allowed to talk in heads up pots, and there's all different rules. And I think, well, why? Like, if they're able to talk to you and you're able to talk to them, it's fair. Like, just because you happen to be better at that than they are, I mean, like, people find it more interesting, and it's just another part of the game that's I think is a skill factor. And you know, the fact that they take it out of there, I don't think is right. But yeah, it is what it is.
Thanks very much, Sam, for the chance to speak to you.
Nice to meet you.
Hopefully, see you again sometime. Right, buddy. Cheers.
I'm sure there's probably been an increase in online play as well, but it's a totally different game playing online than it is to play live, isn't it? I mean, how tough is it for you guys to play online? I mean, is there's obviously a skill to it, but I think that's 50-50. I think online is much harder than live.
I'm just going to retract a little bit, because what I wanted to say as well is the reason I do fear for the live tour as well a little bit is because if you do get all, like, say, the older generation not playing, not traveling because of fear of it, that means the tournaments are going to get a bit more difficult on average, because the younger guys are putting more effort in and generally the better players. So that's why I think it could suffer for that reason as well. And as regards online and live, I would say I'm not as good online as I am live. It is a different game, and where I struggle online is basically what I was speaking to you about earlier. Ever since I've been a little kid, I'm on the computer watching here, but I've also got YouTube up here. I'm on my WhatsApp over here, and I just struggle to focus, and I'm not really analysing. But when I'm at the game, I'm just like more social, more watching hands. And for me personally, I don't work as well online. And it is a different game, because there's less information, right? And there's there's just less information, so it's more difficult. And if you haven't got a good attention span and there's less information, it's harder.
Is there any players that you love to put out more than others?
Is there any players that I love to put out? What do you mean put out? Like
knock them out of a tournament?
Not really. No, like there's one guy called Martin Cabral actually. He's like some guy who's has a strategy of winding people up, and not even winding people up, like generally upsetting them and ruining the structure for them. Like he'll sit there for 30 seconds before he looks at his cards, and he'll go like this and look at you, and he's trying to wind you up. And he's looking at you, and then he like looks at his cards, and then he thinks, and then he just folds. And it's like he's doing it to get everyone emotional and get them wound up.
Right.
He understands that, like I was saying earlier, if people are emotional, they're less likely to make a better decision. And I just hate it, because we could all do it if we wanted to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to do that, because all you're doing is just upsetting people and making it less enjoyable. It changes the whole atmosphere.
Do you think Will Kassouf is guilty of that?
Yeah, massively. He's another one.
In a bad way?
Yeah, I do. And I know there's a lot of Will Kassouf fans, and he has got some good material. I do like part of Will Kassouf's banter. Like, has a bit of fun, but he just hasn't got quite the balance for me. Like, in terms of having a bit of fun and a bit of tabletop, fantastic. But he kind of does the same sort of shit. He just overdoes it. It takes too long. He's already made his decision up before he starts the 3-minute talk, and it's just like wasting time. It's ruining the structure, and I just don't agree with it. I think he should be more considerate to other people playing, basically, because it's not all about you. And it seems like they're just being selfish with this type of behaviour.
Now, for many years, you were endorsed and involved with Party Poker. Are you still endorsed with Party Poker?
Yeah, I'm really heavily involved with Party Poker. Just been working on it the last 2 years and on little projects. I've built a little Trickett's Room VIP lounge there now, and I've been working on that all week. So I'm more involved on the business side of it, if I'm honest, having lots of decisions behind the scenes, and I'm really enjoying it. It's like a different role for me, and I love working at Party Poker. I've been involved with a bunch of brands before, maybe 4 or 5, and I've never felt more comfortable as I do with Party Poker. I like the staff, I like their vision, what they want to do, what they're trying to achieve, and it's just nice to be a part of something where I'm on the same page, basically.
Have you ever been to the point where it's just not fun anymore and you wanted to give up? If so, how did you get over that hurdle?
Yeah, it did actually. When I was trying to climb to the top and I wanted to be the number one, and I was just climbing up and had this goal of trying to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And then after one drop, when I came second, kind of just immediately switched off. I was like, I've kind of set out what I wanted to do. I've achieved more than I expected to achieve, and people's talking about me as one of the better players in the world. So I was like, I'm happy. And I think Patrick Antonius and Jason Mercier got asked in the quiz who's the best player in the world, and they said me, and it was like, it's like weird. It was automatic, like I'm done. It was like a switch, and that's because what I was striving for the whole time. And I was like, I'm done, and he kind of like switched off. And I was like, well, it's not fun now. I'm not competing towards anything, not striving to anything. My game started suffering. I was playing less, lost my drive, and then I didn't really play properly for 3-4 years. I just turned up to a high roller, hungover, and play, and I'd lost all my drive. And then when I signed with Party Poker, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to give it a go again. And I thought I'm going to go down the cash game route now and try and build cash games and do that side of it. Because I felt like a little bit like I'd completed tournaments in a way. And I know you shouldn't look at it like that, but it's me. I like games, and I like setting goals for myself and trying to achieve things. And once I felt like I'd done the tournament side of it, I went down the cash games. And I've done a really good job of building cash games online. People are happy, customers are happy, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback. And I've won a lot of money. And it's, again, I feel like a little bit now, where do I go from here? Because it's kind of like I know how to do a cash game. I won the money, and I do prefer the tournaments because I'm effectively playing against players that I'm better than. I'm equal to in the tournaments. But when I'm playing a cash game, it's against people I'm better than, and it just feels like it's not quite a level playing field. So I feel like a bit, not dirty, but just a bit it's like having a fight with a midget. yeah. It's like
you feel an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I just start splashing around now. So when I play games now, I definitely haven't got that ruthless killer instinct I used to have in me when I play. I'm more splashing around, not concentrating. I'm playing at 60% purely for fun and purely just where it's I don't run over the game too hard. And I think it's quite a nice balance because I enjoy it as well. And I don't feel too guilty when I clean up. So, but now I've gone into the corporate side of things. So I'm enjoying this again. It's a whole new challenge.
Now, what advice would you give to guys like myself and the boys who have been on who we enjoy poker and we really want to get better? That's a big open question. What advice can you give? But what is the best advice you can give guys who are just starting out?
Yeah, it's difficult because obviously everyone's different and you need different advice for certain people. But generally, just don't get attached emotionally and basically learn from your mistakes. These are the two things. If you stick to, even when you have a winning session, review your mistakes. Don't just think, oh, I won today, I don't need to look back. Go back and think. And if you're unsure of some hands you played, go back and review them and be really hard on yourself, but accept that make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just be hard on them, recognize them, and just realize that even if you won the pot, that you made a mistake because you got it in bad, for example. And just and emotion's a tough one because tilt's a big one when you just start out. You're not used to poker, you're not used to exchanging this large amounts of money maybe, and then it's it can rattle you. So just maybe when you're in front and you're winning, continue playing, don't quit. I think this is a mistake that a lot of amateurs make. So when they're in front, they think, oh, I should quit because I want to book my win. But really, it's the way around. These are the sessions you keep playing, and because you're playing your best, you're confident, you're more calm, you're relaxed, you're more patient. And then when they're losing, they continue to play, which is the other way around. So basically, my advice would be to shorter sessions when you're losing. So if you get behind a couple of buy-ins, just quit. you know what I mean? There's always a new day tomorrow, and then when you're in front, continue playing and don't quit as early as you often they do, basically.
All right, buddy. You take care. All the best. Thanks again, Sam Trickett, everybody.
See you later. Cheers.
Cheers, Sam. Bye. And I'll see you guys in the poker room soon. Bye-bye now.